Hi guys, it's Belle here, and today's video we are going to attempt to recreate this wonderful I suppose it's a trifold folder that my friend Sarah made and gifted me during our Crafty Coven Halloween Advent swap. I will leave the video where I opened this down below so that you can see it and everything like that if you haven't already. And I just love this, guys. I really do love it. So I thought we would try, or I would try to recreate this. I haven't made one exactly like this before, so I guess we're just going to start and see. So I think Sarah's actually used craft card because she loves using craft card in her projects, but I, funnily enough, don't have any, and I don't know why, but she's probably used a normal sort of 8.5 by 11 and a bit. I have this scrapbook paper, or card, it's thin enough. I don't know the exact weight, it was just in my stash, and it's kind of this beigey kind of colour. Hopefully that's picking up. It looks slightly different in real life than it's showing up on camera. But I have this 12 by 12 and I'm just thinking we're going to use that because I'm going to use what I've got. So first thing we're going to do is measure. Now this is just under 10. This is sort of, if I can get this all the way up, this is kind of 9, you see, 9 and almost 10. But if you've been here any length of time, you will know I don't like numbers. So I'm going to make life easier on myself, and I'm actually going to just make this 10. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to measure it to 10. Obviously, I'm going to use my guillotine, my paper trimmer. And then the largest section is 7 inches. And then this little fold up is just over an inch. And I am going to do it at just over an inch because Sarah's kind of ripped and torn these edges. So I want to be able to get that effect. And if I do it at an inch, it's going to be harder. So I'm going to do it at an 1.25 inches. So that would make it 8.25 inches, which, woohoo, well done me. I hate numbers. So I'm going to do it this way. This will be better. Like so. So yeah, it's 8.25, did I say? Yeah, that'll give me about enough. So let's chippity chop that so that we have a base to work on. Let me get my paper trimmer, my large old paper trimmer that never quite cuts completely straight, but you know what, that's okay. So yeah, 8.25. So basically if you've got a paper trimmer, obviously you can just cut. You don't need to measure with a pencil, but not everyone has a paper trimmer, or not everyone has a paper trimmer that's as large for a 12 by 12. So we're just showing different ways we can approach this. Okay, so we have our piece of paper now. Let's just check again. Yep. Basically fits perfectly, even though this did not measure as 10. So 10 across and 8.25 up. I just need to make sure that's straight because my paper trimmer can be a little bit temperamental. I have had this one a long time, and yeah, it seems fine. Okay, now you can see that Sarah hasn't lined these up for the opening and the closing. Now, you may want to do that. I actually quite like that effect. So I'm going to do the same thing, which means each of these folds here, each of these spines, I measured at about a quarter. Where did my ruler go? A quarter of an inch. Too much maths, too much maths. But it's a quarter of an inch. I'm not even sure you can see that. There we go. So if this is 10 and these are a quarter of an inch, that gives us basically half an inch. So that leaves us with 9.5 inches. And then I just divided that by 3. And so these two sides are going to be 3 inches. I don't know if you actually measured, Sarah. I'll have to ask you. And the one in the middle is going to be 3.5 inches. So this one's going to be 3. Let's turn this over. I have to use my ruler this way up. I really hate numbers. Right, so this is going to be 3, which is here. And then we have a ½ inch. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So we have 3.5 inch, which should mean this one in the middle is 3.5 inches. 3.5 inch, no, 3.25. What am I saying? 3.25. I'm going to do the same on this side. Oh, me and numbers. I really don't like them. So we've got 3, marking at 3 inches, then a quarter, and then I'm moving it over, and I'm marking at 3 inches, and then I'm doing that little quarter mark there. And again, this should then be 3.5 inches roughly. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I have my scoreboard. Now the reason I marked is my scoreboard only works in centimetres, and centimetres do not perfectly match up with inches. So this is just easier for me to do if I mark it already, and then we are going to score on those quarter inches. We're going to score on those. Right, I need that moved slightly. I'm going to score along those. If you don't have a scoreboard, if you don't have a scoreboard, you can, or if you've got a strange one like me, but if you don't have a scoreboard, just use a ruler and a scoring tool or a bone folder, something like that. Right, and we're going to do the same over here. We're going to just score along there. We do have another score mark to do as well. I'm just checking. Yes, perfect. So we've scored those 2 bits. Now, again, we've seen that Sarah's got this little bit here. She's obviously turned it up. She hasn't glued here either. I don't think you would need to either. So she's got this bit, and I said I was going to score up about 1.5 inches, giving me plenty of sort of leeway with ripping and tearing. Also, we can make it a bit bigger. It doesn't have to be exact to Sarah's. So 1.5 inches there. And again, I'm going to pull over my scoreboard. And I am going to score. I think I've done it on the other side. That's okay. It's not a problem. I can double that over. Again, we're not going for exact. We're just going for... We're just using Sarah's as Oh, and I will leave the link to Sarah's channel down below as well. We're just using Sarah's as get my words out, as inspiration. So I'm going to fold that up like so. So that's folded up, and then we want to fold these, we want to score them so that we really get those burnished, making it much easier to fold these. So like so. And I am not going to be doing a nature themed one as Sarah did. I think Sarah's is absolutely beautiful, and I definitely want to do a nature themed one. And I did want to do a Christmas one as well, but there is a kit that Tracy Fox brought out a little while ago that I have not had the time to work with yet, and I really want to. So I thought this would be the perfect time. There we go. We've got our base. I mean, mine seems to have a little more space here, but I did make mine slightly bigger. I mean, it seems to be roughly the same size as Sarah's. So, I don't know. Either way, yes. So I have a kit that I really want to work with this. Now, the first thing we're going to do is, if you can see here, Sarah has ripped and torn. Let me take this out. She's ripped and torn all along the top so that these edges will also have a torn edge. And obviously all of that is ripped and torn too. So let's have some fun. And I think if I'm looking correctly, oh no, she's just torn it across. I thought she'd torn it at a slight angle, but she hasn't. So we're just going to tear it, make it a bit grungy. Now I do have a tear ruler that I can use for this, but I prefer tearing by hand. It gives it even more of a natural tear feel, and also I just find that a bit easier. But I do have a tear ruler, so that's delicious already. I need to remember, I always do this. I always forget that this bit goes on the front. I almost put them inside as pockets. Were you seeing that and going, Belle, you've done it the wrong way round? Let's score that. Yeah, I always do this. I don't know why. And there's so many things that I got in that advent that I really want to have a go at making. Doing my version of. But I know that this one was something that a lot of you were like, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Can you make one of those? Can you try and make one of those? Because obviously this is something that's very, that can be used in journals, journal ephemera, all that kind of thing. And a lot of you guys who are watching are journal makers, so, or journalers. They're not necessarily the same thing. I know lots of people who make journals who don't use journals, and I know journalers who don't make journals. So, yeah, I know. We're just going to see what we can do. Okay, now, is it this way? Was it the other way? Right, it folds easier that way, so it must be that way. Okay, so I have my walnut stain on here because Sarah said she did use, I think it was the moss Distress Oxide, because I was asking her what that beautiful green colour was. I don't have that one. I now need that ink. But I am going to go for Walnut Stain because I want this grungier, and I think actually I'm going to double ink. I think I'm going to start with Walnut Stain, but I might come in with a little bit of black soot, but maybe only in some areas. So this is obviously going to fold up, so we're going to see that. And then we're obviously going to do the top. So yeah, as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to make one. And I know a lot of you were like, oh yes, please make that. And no tutorial. Sarah hasn't told me exactly how she did everything. I could obviously have asked her. She would even have maybe done a little mini tutorial herself. But sometimes it's nice to look at a piece and think, okay, how was that made? How can I make it? What do we think they've done? All that kind of good stuff. So we are literally inking everything. So I know not everyone likes to see inking done on camera, but that's what we're doing. And obviously I need the spine bits done too. And this card, just the colour of it works so well. I think I would have liked to do it with craft cards because of the kind of project I'm doing anyway, but I don't have any, so I went with what I've got. And I highly recommend that you do that. Just use what you have. It doesn't have to be exact. I know I keep saying that, but it doesn't, guys. It's just using what you have. Obviously, if you like something, you're like, oh, but I really want it to look exactly like that as much as possible. But it's never going to anyway, because we all have our own style. We all have our own tools. Even if you had exactly the same, it's still going to come out a little bit different. That is the joy of crafting. Okay, loving that. Loving it. Let's bring in a little bit of distress. Not distress, a little bit of black soot. Some of you will know I like to layer these two colours because I just think it gives a nice kind of extra layer and texture to a piece. It doesn't have to be everywhere either, just in some places. So yeah, just in some places. Oh, I've done it that way. You could do either. I think Anna's was actually this way. If you don't know, Anna was the other person in our Halloween Advent craft swap, and I think her little tag was this way, but we're doing it the way Sarah did for ours. Now the other thing I want to do before we get started on anything else is you will see Sarah has stenciled a lot on hers, which I love. Now I haven't put all the pockets and things on yet because I don't quite know what I'm going to do with those. So I want to stencil. I have this one. I think it's just a plain one. I don't know. I don't think it's Tim Holtz because it hasn't got a name on it. And I can't remember. It's been taken out of the packaging, guys. But I know Tim Holtz does do one like this. So I wanted this to almost look like a folder, like a hospital folder or something like that. Now, obviously, and I'm using Walnut Stain again, obviously, not exactly a hospital folder, but like a folio or something. I want it to be a bit like that. So we are going to have some coffee stains or tea stains on here, just randomly. Because, yeah, we won't even see a lot of this back one because it will be covered with a pocket. Again, we're going to do pockets very, very similar to how Sarah's done hers. I am trying my hardest, guys. It's not easy. I'm trying my hardest not to fully adapt left and changed this up a little bit. Like already I'm thinking, oh, I wonder how that would look, and I wonder how that would look. And obviously I can do that, but I wanted to, as much as possible, kind of stick to what Sarah has done. I'm already thinking, oh, that could have been a flip and that. And I'm not going to make the ephemera exactly the same anyway because of the kit. I am going to be using a digital kit. Sarah hasn't done that. She doesn't really use digitals unless they're her own. So I am going to be using a digital kit. Do you know what else I wanted to bring in? I've got this very simplistic. This is the kind of thing that you used to get as kids for your... when you were going back to school. It's one of those kind of things. I'm trying to see what's on the inside of there. A big pocket. Okay, well, we can kind of put numbers along here. But I wanted to bring in some numbers. And I've got this in my stash, so I thought, let's use it. Ooh, like it. And maybe some more up here. We might actually see that on the other side, but that's okay. What's in the middle? There's a pocket down there. But again, we can put some numbers maybe over here, maybe some letters. Let's just bring in a few different things. Yes, liking it. Let's use something a bit different because I keep using the same kind of numbers and things. So I don't know how much of this will get covered, but that's fine because we're just... I want this way again, but this way around this time, and maybe some of the letters too. We're just playing, and we can always add more. That's the thing, guys. You can always add more just in the background. Oh, I'm loving that. We're just going to kind of do the top of the numbers here. We're not even going to do the whole thing. Just there, do you see? I don't know. Just wants to play. I love the fact that she stenciled on everything because on this one we're going to actually do them upright. And we're going to do them so that they come over the actual pocket bit too. I'm going to leave it like that because I can always come on and add some more. I also had this stamp, and it's just a Christmas stamp stencil. It's just this lovely crisscross design, but I did think this might also add a little something that might go with the kind of theme. I'm doing that very, very loosely. I don't know if I like it as much, but as I've done it now, I want to kind of finish up adding that. Don't know if I like that as much. It's mainly on the outside, so that'll be fine. Okay, we tried. We don't know if we like. It's okay. It's all good. So you can see here that Sarah has folded these edges down. She's not gone all the way to the spine. She's left sort of, again, about 1/4 of an inch. And she's folded that down. So we're going to do that. And this one, these actually line up. So the one on this side lines up with this edge. Can you see? So we're going to try that. We'll see how successful we are. So again, yeah, about 1 inch down. Well, leaving about 1/4 of an inch. Love it. And you can see we just get a little bit of that mark, but not a lot. Now we're going to close this, and it comes to about here. So I have to try and fold this in a way. Now obviously the easiest way to do this is I can make a mark with my pencil. And then I'm going to fold down to that mark, meaning I'm not going to burnish it just yet, that those should, once they're together, yeah, basically add up, line up. Again, is it necessary? Probably not. But I saw that little detail. I don't even know if Sarah did that on purpose, like made sure they lined up, but I kind of liked it. So that also means now we need to come in. There's a lot of inking. You don't have to ink if you're not an inker, if it's not your thing, if you don't add it to your projects, you don't have to. I like it. Sarah obviously added it to hers, but I was going to add it to mine either way. So. And I'm also going to ink this side because this can get lifted. So I'm going to do that as well. And then I'm really going to burnish those again and make sure, where did my... I literally just had my bone folder. It's so ironic because the pot on my table that my bone folder lives in is the pot that often, so I have two. I have one with my scissors bone folder glues, and I have another little one that's got all my pens in. And normally when I've used a pen or pencil, I end up putting it back in the pot with the bone folders and the glue, and I don't know why that is. But my bone folder, I've literally just put in the pot with my pencils, and it's like, really? That's not what I normally do. So why have I done that? So we have this very cute little trifold. Like it opens, and now let me show you first, because then we're going to get on with the pockets, but let me show you first the kit I'm going to be using. Now I printed it all out because I can't just print one bit of a kit out. Actually, I tell a lie, there was one page I didn't print out. But this is the Tracy Fox, and it's the Peculiar Incidents at Potter's Infirmary kit. Now, it is a chunkle. Tracy really does give us a lot. This could have been exactly like the Craftly Haul kit. This could have been a month-long project because there's so much in here, guys. I will leave Tracy Fox down below and obviously all the details of this. And in case you don't know what Craftly Haul was, it was the kit used for Creep on June. That's all about kind of like a parapsychology kind of Victorian investigation society. And this is another one of their cases that she brought afterwards, which is at Potter's Infirmary, which is all about a hospital. Now, I'm not following the case exactly because you don't have to. You know, you don't need to watch all that and go and watch it. It's brilliant, the story that's been done with it and that. But you don't need to work with the kit. And it was exactly the same for Craftly Haul. I didn't follow that story exact. But we're basically sort of doing an abandoned hospital theme. Now, I'm going to be honest. These kind of things really creep me out. The idea of abandoned hospitals just gives me all the heebies and the jeebies. It's horrible. But I loved this kit when it came out, and I didn't get time to sort of work with it then. So we're going to. I know it's November, but let's still keep it a little bit creepy. Next week, probably, you'll be getting all the Christmas stuff. So this will probably be my last creepy project. And there's actually another project I want to do with this kit, but that won't be till next year now. So, yes, this kit will be down below. And I want to make this like almost like a hospital folder with lots of different details in it. So this is what I'm going to be using. So I just wanted to show you that some of the pockets will be made from obviously I'm going to be using the tags, but they have these kind of images in the kit, and some of the pockets are going to be used with those images. So I just wanted to show you it because I don't know if we'll get onto that bit today. So on the front here we have, oh, I love that tag so much. We are so going to make one of those. We have this belly band. And again, I know I don't need to do exactly what Sarah did, but we're going to. So I'm going to make the belly band. Now, Sarah's is only about, because I know a lot of you like sizes, at its widest, it's about 1 inch and a quarter. Oh, too many numbers, guys. I don't like it. So about 1 inch and a quarter. And obviously this is about 3. So let's cut it at 3, and then let's cut about 1.25 inches for the belly band. And again, Sarah, as you can see, has ripped all the way around this. Love it. This is so my aesthetic. Ripped and torn, you say? Yes, I say. And also, if this is an old folder, the idea of ripping seems right. Actually, I really should find my tape as well, because I feel like I do want to actually... Is my tape there? I need to keep it on my table. I feel like I want to use my fake tape. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about this stuff here. So the stuff that Tim Holtz came out with this year that we've all now gone a little bit crazy for. But I haven't bought the Tim Holtz one. I made my own, like many of us did. But, you know, now my belly band is smaller than Sarah's. But do you know what? That doesn't matter. And I think I want this edge to show. Do you see where the ripped, it's got more texture. So I think I want that. So we've got a belly band. She has stenciled on hers. I might do some numbers, but there's a lot of stenciling on here anyway. So if I just do a rough, just a little bit of numbers, I think I'm going to be putting something on here anyway, like a label, so it's not actually that necessary, but let's do it anyway, just because. And we're going to glue it in. I'm just going to do that. I'm not even going to worry too much. It would be really great actually to do like metal brads, but we're not going to worry too much. We're just going to glue it. I may regret this later on when I suddenly want to add labels and things. But that's all right. And hers is about, yeah, it comes to about there, which is about just under 1/2 inch away. Because as you've seen, she uses the tag, the wonderful tag, to actually hold this top picture down. So the tag goes all the way into the bottom pocket. It's actually the other way around because this gets caught. So it goes in better this way. But it holds that flap down, which is brilliant. So we've done our first pocket on the front. Fantastic. Now we have a pocket on the inside, and you can see it's at an angle, and it is one that's got the flaps on the sides. I hate doing those kind, but we are fitting a lot of stuff in there, so you know. And does this one match up? No, they're all kind of different sizes, so we're just going to go with that. Realistically, maybe this would look even better tea stained, but we're going for it. So the good thing about using a 12 by 12 piece is I do have the scraps left over. So Sarah hasn't gone all the way up. She's left about 1/2 inch. Do I have to be that exact? No, I don't. Am I going to be? We'll see. So about here. Now, obviously, again, this is 3, but I need to cut it at about 3.5. And then this bit is going to be the bottom flap. So yeah, that's what I need to do, because I need those edges to make the flaps on my pockets. Now again, it doesn't have to be exact, because we need to leave a little bit of space here, so we'll see how that works. And we are going to tear this. Again, I can tear it further. Oh gosh, I just love all that. Right, now let's get the ruler. I'm using the ruler far too often. How dare you, Sarah? How dare you make me use my ruler? And we are going to do about 1/4 of an inch-ish. We might actually have to do a little bit more. but that's okay. I mean, realistically, the flaps don't have to be exact, you know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to be. Why was that there? Did I do this the wrong way? Have I torn it the wrong way? I mean, I have, haven't I? Huh. Okay, do you know what I'm going to do instead? I've torn it the wrong way. Don't worry, these things are fixable. So the first thing I'm going to do, where did my, there's my scoreboard. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to score just a little bottom one like this. It looks like it's about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to score that first. Then I'm going to come back here, and this is the easier way for me to actually measure because I don't like measurements to make the flaps. We're going to go here. I'm going to use the actual piece as a guide, and here I'm going to make sure that these ones have something extra because I've got a lot of little drawing on there. So again, sorry if I can't give you exact measurements, but basically just measure the pocket and then see how that goes. So now this should go up here. And these should go here. We are actually going to close these up because I want to see what this pocket looks like. Because you can always go back and rescore, but you can't go back. See, that's too small. That's actually too small. If I keep that one like that, do you know why? After saying, let's make sure we use the proper measurement, I didn't. Okay. Good job. This is supposed to look a bit grungy, isn't it? Now let's have a look. Will that fit better? I mean, I still feel like it's a little bit small. Well, as we've already got a couple of marks on there, let's have another one. So yeah, maybe measure better than I did. I don't know what happened there. I really don't. Let's measure this. Right, that's better. Okay. So yeah, trial and error, guys, but you're getting to see the real kind of the real crafting, the reality of it, shall we say. We're going to rip this anyway. Okay, and this is going to fold up. So now what I have to do is, because I can't find my little white scissors, I'm going to come in and cut those edges and cut this edge. And that one's okay, but we're going to trim this one a little bit. Okay. So they will all now flap down like that. Why is that still not? Trial and error. Okay, and obviously I'm now going to ink the edges of this. Sarah also did some stenciling. So I may do that, I may not. And again, I'm just going to glue it straight in. Now, this may be the wrong thing to do because, again, I might want to use a brad or something like that. But what I'm trying not to do is I'm trying not to overthink this. And I just want to get it glued in. That's what I want to do. And if I do want to add brads or something, I will work around that. So, yeah. I'm not putting it right near that spine bend because there needs to be a little bit of room to give that more flexibility to move. And let's really press those down. I really don't often use flaps on my pockets, but we're going to. And I don't even mind all that kind of texture there. So we come to the middle now, And Sarah has this pocket down the bottom. Lots of stenciling again. So we're going to put these back in. There's a tag, and I don't know where this tag's from. Is this from the front? Where is this tag from, Sarah? Oops. Oh, I think it's from the back. I think it might be from there, because this is actually a paper clip. So let's do that. So we've got this middle pocket here. And again, we're going to... This should be easier for me to do. Should be. Famous last words. We shall see. I'm just going to roughly do about... How far is this? I kind of want it to kind of match up. That's a bit silly, really, isn't it? Let's do it a bit larger. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to do a pocket of about 3 inches in height. That's what I'm going to do. And obviously, I'm now going to tear it. And I'm going to do that first, because then I'll remember which is the top and which is the bottom, which I didn't remember with the last one. So we're going to do this first. Okay. And again, I'm going to come on, and the first thing I'm going to do is do, again, about 1/4 of an inch-ish on the bottom. Ish. This is like 1/2 centimetre, so I'm just doing a bit above that. That looks like about 1/4 of an inch. I really need a new scoreboard, but I hate the idea of having to buy one when I've got one, even if it means that my projects aren't as exact as I would like. I really hate the idea of buying one when I have one. Right, we are going to come in about here, and we're going to come in about here, and we are going to do that this time, and we're going to do it right. And this is just on the other side of my little pencil mark, and that's okay. Okay. Talk about do things a bit fiddly. This is why I don't often do these kind of pockets, even though realistically they're simple to do. But they're fiddly. And I don't like that. And I also don't like measurements. So I don't often do these kind of pockets. And that's just the way it is. But if you want to put more into a pocket, I will get around it by often doing several layers. That's what I'll set and do, several pockets. Lovely. But if you want to put more in a pocket, you really do need, sometimes, depending how thick it is. Now, Sarah's put a mini journal in this pocket, which is why this really does need a bit extra. I don't know if I'm going to do a journal exactly. We will see. Because I want to use the kit and go with the theme. So I'm not going to do the ephemera exactly the same as Sarah's has. But maybe we'll do a video, a different video, like a little mini video or something, where I make some of the similar kind of ephemera that Sarah has. So there is our middle pocket. Yay! Now on this side, we have another pocket like this, and that also has a smaller pocket on. I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to add the smaller pocket. We shall see. But we're definitely going to do... There's also a couple of pockets on the back. I may need more card. That's all right, because I do actually have an extra piece. Okay, we're going to do another pocket. I kind of want it to be the same height as this one. I know I don't need it to be, but my brain's telling me that it should be. So we're going to need another kind of inch layer. I don't know. It's just the way my brain works, guys. So that's what we're going to do. Where's my mini guillotine? You've seen me do this a few times, but I could speed through it. But also, sometimes it's good to see how long a project can actually take as well. Yeah, that's the bottom. It doesn't have to be exact. I keep trying to tell myself that. Okay, and now we need to do the get it to fit. Again, I'm using the tag base as my measurement rather than actually measuring. And really, guys, that is the best way to do it. Obviously, if you prefer measurements, you might want to measure exactly, but if I can get away with not doing it, then I will get away with not doing it because that's what I like. So before we burnish this completely, yeah, that's a really good size. Let's burnish. If you don't have a bone folder, the easiest way to do it is you can just like really press down, but you're not going to get a clean edge. But you can use sometimes like the back of scissors or something like that if you don't have a bone folder. But if you don't have one, that is one of the tools that I would highly suggest you do get. And we're going to have it at an angle this way because I don't know, there's just certain tools, bone folders and pokey tools, that I just could not imagine crafting without. Like, they're kind of your basic tool that you really, really need. I've had mine for years. I'm talking 20 years. My oldest pokey tool just broke. And I'd had that for at least 20 years, but it just broke. I mean, I was so sad. I do have another one, but it's not a favourite because the end bit is longer than I like. So we do, don't we? We end up having tools we prefer over others. Like, I have a favourite bone folder. I have 3 of them, but I have a favourite one. I have a favourite pokey tool. You know, we have favourite scissors, although we also do use scissors for different things. But yeah, we just, even with the tools, I have several rulers, but I have my favourite. I have had this ruler for probably at least 15 years or longer too. So sometimes it's worth just getting your tool, and because they'll last you, you know. Now, I like to put my bone folder in there just to kind of open up the pocket, because sometimes when it glues, the pocket can glue shut. But, so we've got our inside, guys. We've got our front and our inside. Now, on this front one, let me pull Sarah's over. I'm literally losing everything, and I hate doing that. I like to keep everything exactly where it's meant to be. On this front piece, you can see Sarah did another little tuck there. And again, this tucks in to keep this shut. So this flap does just meet the top of this little pocket. So this will be interesting to see how well I can do this one. I don't think this is going to work. I mean, this is quite small, but I think it's taller than this. Yeah, it's definitely taller, but this is what I've got. So can I make it? No, I'm not going to be able to make that work. So thankfully I had another piece of card, but now what I need to do is cut this card. I'm going to cut it at about 4 inches. That's not the size we're going to use, but it will give me a nice size to do pockets and things with. So let's have a look at Sarah's. We will try and measure Sarah's just to have a look. So Sarah's pocket is about 2.5 inches. And these pockets, do these ones? I don't know if this one has a flap. Let me have a look. Does it? No, that one does not have a flap on it. It's just a flat pocket. Yay! Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that. Might be easier to do it this way. I don't know. So hers was about 2.5. So let's just do that. Let's cut at about 2.5 inches. And then let's just try and work with it as is. So 2.5 from the top, roughly. And then we know this is about 3. So I'm going to just cut it just under 3. Now let's measure that and see if it will fit on here. Like if it fits. And again, that's a bit big. So we're going to cut it at, I did it just under 3. I'm going to do it about there. So it's not quite 2 3/4. It's just a tad, a smidge more than 2 3/4. And I want the tag to, and we're going to rip it, but I want the tag. Do you know what? Why is mine, how wide was hers? Actually, hers was 2 1/4. Because mine's sticking out a lot more than hers. Or 2.5. 2.5 did I measure? Yeah, 2.5. Right, we're just going to do it. We're going to measure what Sarah's was. That's what we're going to do. Because hers just tucks underneath. And again, does it have to be exact to Sarah's? No, but I'm trying to make certain things that way. So, I don't know. But one thing this can show you, one thing I hope you're getting inspired by, is the fact that if you have a piece of ephemera you love, you don't always need a tutorial on it. Sometimes you can just take that piece of ephemera and really look at it, and bit by bit, so I've got Sarah's here, and you can see that just goes under there. Bit by bit, so that's kind of just sticking out. You can take it apart. I'm going to put a pencil mark just here. And I'm also going to do one just about there, because I can rub pencil marks off, so it's not really a problem. You can sort of just slowly look at it and think, oh, okay, what does that do? Let's take that bit. And now let's see if I can make that. Yeah, so you can do that with these pieces. Okay, I have it on my mark. Yeah, that just goes over it. Again, Sarah's was stenciled all over, but I don't know, I might actually put something on there because I feel like it's a little bit naked, like it needs something. So let's just put some more of these yummy marks on here. I'm not even going to add more ink to my brush. I'm just going to, and sometimes I like doing the stencils so it comes over the top like that, because if you literally had this on your desk and you spilt tea on it, you would, that hasn't stuck yet, you would have the mark not just on the pocket. So that's the way I see it. I'm going to add a little number down here as well, maybe 56. Okay, right. So we've done all those ones. So we're just on the back now. And on the back, there is a large pocket. Now, this is where I may adapt a little bit, because I feel like this could be a double pocket. Just saying. But it could also be something else. So let's start with the pocket base, because I can adapt it as we go. Now this one, where'd my ruler go? Sarah's done hers at about 3 1/4 inches with a torn edge, and she's done it at 2 3/4 inches. So let's do the 2 3/4 first. Oh no, is this a, this has got the flaps. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this first. The threaded flaps. First of all, I'm going to tear it again, because this just again helps me see which side is the right way up. I will ink it in a minute. And then let's get the scoreboard and just do, again, about 1/4 inch, just above 1/2 centimetre for the bottom flap. And now we're going to do exactly the same thing that you've seen me do several times already. I mean, this actually, no, we don't need to measure it because it's already smaller. So I am going to do actually 1/2 centimetre. Is that 1/2 centimetre? Yeah, I am going to do 1/2 centimetre, which is just under 1/4 inch, roughly. Again, don't like measurements. This is not the channel to come to if you want exact measurements. There are plenty of other crafters out there who are amazing and love all that kind of thing and get very technical and all that kind of... No, that is not me, guys. That is not what I enjoy. And we're crafting, so we should craft in a way that we enjoy. And I don't enjoy numbers. So, I don't mind stenciled numbers. Or numbers on metal tags, or cute little stamped numbers, but actual measurements for projects, that's not my thing. So this is probably one of the most measured ones that I've done ever, because yeah, just coming in areas with some of that black soot as well. This is going to sit on here. We can see Sarah's pocket here. Yeah, it's just going to sit on there. Again, I feel like it might need a little bit of stenciling, but let's just bring in some of the numbers, I think. Some of the letters. Now, because it's an infirmary, I thought it was quite good to have the numbers. This is probably all going to be covered, but I want to put it on there just in case. Because obviously patients have patient number files. So that's what I'm going with, the numbers. And the letters might be their initials, you know. That is what we are going with. Like so. And I think we'll leave it there for today, because we've done all the pockets and the base. And I think the next bit will be the really fun bit, because we will get to decorate. And let's face it, that's the bit the majority of us actually really like doing, don't we? So again, let's look. We've got this trifolder that opens up. We've got our belly band here. We've got the 2 different turn down flap corners. We've got 2 pockets. That could have been more ripped, but it's good as is. We've got our middle pocket. We've got this little one. We've got all our tucks here. Look how clean this is now. And we've got our pocket on the back, exactly like Sarah's. Which, that may be all you want to see, guys. You might just want to see the basis of how to make this. Bring in your stenciling, use whatever card you want. But I'm going to stop this video here, and then we're going to get on with the decorating. So this is part 1. So thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. Go and check out Sarah's channel down below if you want to see more of her amazing creations. And I'll be back again soon. So until next time, guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having lots and lots of crafty fun. Bye for now.